How you doing? You all out there? How you doing? The lights are bright. I'm over at 77 WABC. I got my pre-show, as you can tell. You know, my laptop's over here. Crazy stuff going on. Okay, so I'm on my drink. So how's everybody doing? Last week was a crazy, great show. I had a blast. And now, before I start, I just want got to join America's team. On December 13th, this coming Sunday, I'm hosting my Christmas reception from 12 to 2. I'm going to come down. I'll buy you a drink at Hunter Steakhouse, 94th Street and 4th Avenue, next Sunday, December 13th, between 12 and 2. America's team. Help America's team, help our veterans. We're going to raise $50,000 and we're going to build a scalable stress reduction biofeedback center for the veterans, for our veterans, for the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Okay? America's team. So you go to facebook.com/Frankie Russo Show. You click on the Americans team, the icon with the American flag. It'll kick you to the Indigo campaign. Make a little donation. We're going to make this happen. I'm going to raise the 50,000. We're going to make it happen. Okay? RussoNation.tv, and I got different perks. You become a member. I'll send you a T-shirt. And remember, whatever I raise, the only administrative costs are going to be to the doctor, to the nurse, to this little, RN, whatever. This is not a treatment center. We're not replacing the medical doctor. We're going to augment the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. We're going to augment their programs. We're going to augment. In other words, we're going to help. We're going to add on to their medical treatment. We're going to augment onto the medical programs, the treatments of of our veterans, of the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So, America's team, go to Facebook/Frankie Russo Show and click on the icon. Take you to the Indigo campaign and donate. I have the model quickly. Illegal president, fraudulent second service, cut Obama, Clinton Foundation, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, the criminal enterprise, Iranian global terror network, so it's plus Obama, plus the Clinton Foundation, plus the Iranian global terror network, plus the Iranian surrogates. I'm going to talk about one of the surrogates tonight, ISIS. I'm going to talk about ISIS. I'm like ISIS with this ISIS thing. First I want to go what I have right now on ISIS, and you draw the conclusions. Everybody's saying that ISIS was created by the United States. I don't know. I mean, the model that we've been building up here, well sourced, I believe. That there's some reports that claim that ISIS is a creation of the United States or whatever. They've been trained or whatever. Let me go over some of the data I've been accumulating, and then we'll start to draw some conclusions. I believe this is the premise that I have. That I believe what's running through the data that I'm getting is that based on the model, Obama plus Clinton Foundation, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, plus Iranian Global Terror Network, plus Iranian surrogates, that the theme of all the transactions on the Obama-Clinton administration timeline, the theme that runs through is the acquiescing, is the capitulating to the Iranian global terror network. And this, once again, to me, conceivably, ISIS is a creation of ISIS. Basically, America acquiesced, America capitulated to the demands of Iran. Conceivably, statistically significant. That was good. That was good juice. That was a, a nice drink I had. Okay, ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, mainstream media, Al Qaeda in Iraq birthed ISIS. Okay, so that's pretty much the consensus. Now, United States Treasury, this is like some of the initial data. I've already presented this the live show, but I want to start there. I just want to recap it and then add to it. United States Treasury Department press release. Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security, which I have some information on them over here, materially supported Al Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS. United States Treasury Department press release. Qatari national Al Numani, terror financier, provided $2 million weekly indefinitely to Al Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS. In addition, Al Numani provides hundreds of thousands of dollars to Yassin al-Suri, United States Treasury Department terrorist designee. Yassin al-Suri, an al-Qaeda affiliate, head of the al-Qaeda Iran network in Sahadan city of Iran. And he lives in Iran. Crazy, right? Investigative journalist Kenneth Timmerman, this is another, author of Dark Forces, Truth About Benghazi. He claims in an interview, Iranian Quds Force General Soleimani floats currency in Iraqi banks, and Iranian Quds Force garners $2 billion annually. Another one. Fox Business reports United States dollars funneled through Iraq's central bank into Iranian banks, funneled to ISIS. Apparently, the United States dollars to Iraq was stopped. However, the United States dollars to Iraq started up again. I don't know. But that's what's so far what I got. And then I got this the other day. Then I got some stuff over here I want to add to. Over here, the other day, I was watching, because I'm online every day. I watch the CNBC with the market, try to stay in touch with the economics. And on CNBC, they had this gentleman named Ed Morse from Citibank's head of commodities research. And he claims that nobody really knows, he says, what's going on with OPEC and everything. Saudi Arabia seems to be more concerned with, according to this Ed Morse, Saudi Arabia seems to be more concerned with the market share, their market share of oil. So they're concerned with the market share, losing it to other OPEC oil countries. So they're concerned about losing their market share. According to Ed Morse, Saudi Arabia is most concerned about losing its market share in the oil business, in the oil industry, losing its market share to other OPEC oil countries. And who's another one? Iran, right? Now, he claims Iran, listen to this. This is what drives me nuts, Iran in Q1, the first quarter of next year, there's, for the forecasters are, the trends are coming out for 2016, Q1, first quarter, Q2, second quarter, the whole thing, right? So they're claiming Iran is starting up because of this fake Iranian nuke deal, which quite frankly came out that it's not even it's a political deal. It's not even, they didn't even sign it. Who the hell knows what this thing is, this Iranian nuke deal? Who the hell knows? I don't know. But according to Ed Morse, Citibank's head of commodities and research, Iran's getting back into OPEC. They're going to start to, they're projecting, the projections are coming out, their production, the oil production in Q1, quarter number one, Iran will be 300 to 500 barrels of oil a day. So Iran's coming back into the market, and they're projecting within a year, by the end of the year, they'll be producing 1 million barrels of oil a day. Iran, 1 million barrels of oil a day. They're projecting. Iran's going to be big, huge. So that's what. That's why I'm so upset about this nuke deal. And so, what does this have to do with ISIS, right? It's got a lot to do with ISIS. I just wanted to add that into the equation. So now we got, as a sidebar, the presentation I made with this is my scrap notes. I didn't get a chance to type it in. I just been so busy. I just brought it with me. I think it was yesterday or something, and I said I got to write this down. So Iran in Q1 next year, they're coming back into the market. They're a member of OPEC, and the forecasters, the projections are that Iran will produce 300 to 500 barrels of oil initially per day, and then within a year, they're forecasting Iran's going to produce 1 million barrels of oil a day toward the end of the year, probably in Q4, which is, if I'm not mistaken, October, November, December of next year, 2016. That's this great nuke deal. So now, that's a little sidebar, but it comes into play. Just to go over now why I believe Iran sponsored the creation of ISIS, sheltered its founder, Treasury, Iran intelligence supporting Al Qaeda. Here's a guy, Thomas Joslin, in the Long War Journal. We already have, right, we spoke about this. U.S. Treasury designated the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security for its support to terrorist groups, as well as its central role in perpetrating human rights abuses against the citizens of Iran, and its role in supporting the Syrian regime as it continues to commit human. Wow, that's the United States Treasury Department, right? And according to the United States Treasury Department, MOIS, I said it earlier, Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security, has provided material support, weapons and money to Al Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS. So he just reiterates that. Here's a validation. United States Treasury Department designated an Al Qaeda leader known as Yassin al-Suri in 2011, along with 5 other terrorist operatives who use Iranian soil to move funds and recruits from Iran's neighboring Gulf countries to South Asia and elsewhere. Al-Suri's network assists not only senior Al Qaeda operatives in Pakistan, but Al Qaeda in Iraq. Okay, Al-Suri. So this is what I'm trying to. This is all part of this Iranian global terror network, and now Iran, it's coming out. I don't want to go ahead. Okay, here's another. This goes into all the other stuff I've been talking about. Okay, good. The Treasury Department said that al-Suri's network operates as part of a secret deal between Al Qaeda and the Iranian government. In 2011, the United States authorities announced a $10 million reward for information leading to al-Suri's capture. It's my understanding that I think he was recently whacked. I'm not sure totally. Him, Yassin al-Suri, I think he was by a drone strike. This next gentleman I'm going to talk about, Muhsin al-Fadali. I'm just showing you this Al Qaeda in Iraq connection, Iran. Okay, just to let you understand the whole. Recent reports indicate this is Thomas Joslin. I'm still reading from that article. Thomas Joslin, Long War Journal, Treasury, United States Treasury Department, Iranian intelligence supporting Al Qaeda. Okay. This guy's great. Senior editor for the Weekly Stand. This guy's tremendous. Recent press reports indicate that the scrutiny placed on al-Suri has led to his replacement as head of Iran's Al-Qaeda's Iran franchise. The terrorist who has reportedly replaced him is a notorious Al-Qaeda financier, Mohsen Al-Fadali. Mohsen Al-Fadali, we talk about him almost every other week. I think he also got hit by drones. I think in July of this year, but he was involved. He's also part of this Al Qaeda Iran connection, this Al Qaeda Iran nexus. And in addition to working with Al Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS, Abu Musab Abu Musab al-Zakari. This is the first Al-Fadali is wanted for his involvement in Al-Qaeda's international terrorist plotting. So Al-Fadali helped finance the October 6, 2002 attack on the French ship MV Limbourg, has been tied to the October 8, 2002 attack against U.S. Marines stationed in Kuwait. It's unbelievable. Now, interesting, this is crazy stuff, man. Let me see who else they designated. 4 other Al-Qaeda leaders operating in Iraq. Look at this. It's like unbelievable. U.S. sanctions senior Al-Qaeda members operating in Iraq. Saeed bin Laden, Mustafa Hamid, Muhammad Abba al-Zayed, and Ali Saleh Hussein has been designated as terrorists. These 3 men serve 1, 2, 3 as Al-Qaeda's planning council. Okay? The designation allows the U.S. to freeze their assets, prevent them from using financial institutions, and prosecute them for terrorist activities. The Treasury designated senior Al-Qaeda operatives sheltering in Iran in recent past. Al-Qaeda financiers Khalif Muhammad Turki, Abdul Mohammed Abdul al-Khaliq, Rahman Mohammed Jafir were designated. This is a lot of people. I'm telling you, man, this is a global terror network, and it goes into Pakistan, the Al-Qaeda's operations in Pakistan and Afghanistan, into Iraq. The designated of Ali and Khaliq as designated global terrorist individuals highlights the prominence of Al-Qaeda's network inside of Iran and continuing Iranian support for Al-Qaeda's operations in Pakistan and Afghanistan. I'm telling you, when James Comey, with the grace of God, comes out with those 5 individuals that they're questioning, hopefully comes out with a few of them, I'm telling you, that thing in the shooting this past week in California, San Bernardino, the San Bernardino shooting, when James Comey, the FBI, comes out with those other individuals, because there is an international connection here, we're gonna have this. I'm telling you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Scores of senior mid-level Al-Qaeda operatives are known to be based out of Iran. Senior Al-Qaeda leaders known to be inside of Iran. Sid bin Laden, Osama bin Laden's son, potential successor. Hamza bin Laden, Saif al-Adal, Al-Qaeda's senior strategist who is said to be third in command of Al-Qaeda. Sulman Abu Ghath, former spokesman for bin Laden. Abu Hafas, Al-Qaeda's director of personnel. Sheikh Saeed al-Mazuri, bin Laden's chief financier. I mean, it is just unbelievable operating in Iran. I'll tell you, I'm just blown away with this whole thing. This is just unbelievable. Do you see who's ISIS? Who's ISIS? Abu Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He's claiming. Yeah, here's another article. This article. This I tell you, these some of these reporters are just amazing. The stuff that they garner, like this long journal, long war journal by Thomas Jocelyn. This Thomas Jocelyn is something. They're amazing. These people, incredible. Who's ISIS? Who's ISIS? Here's more. Here's more. Iran long provided shelter and protection to the founder and former commander of Al Qaeda in Iraq, the predecessor to the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, ISIL, which rose to power due to large part of to Tehran's support, according to multiple intelligence reports outside experts. Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo. They work together with a guy like Thomas Jocelyn for the Weekly Standard. These guys are. I'm telling you, man. I'm just like, what's going on over here? You know, I can't get Al Qaeda leader Abu Musab al Zakari. He's the first one. Was given protection by Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard Corps. Provided resources to rebuild the restructure that has enabled ISIL to take over much of western Iraq. Now, like we've said earlier, the Iran-Iraq war, in my world, there's no way, based on everything, what Iran knows about Iraq, there's no way. Iran's got their mojo right now. There's no way that I believe Iran's going to allow this Al Qaeda in Iraq, this ISIS, this Sunni militia to go on its own and blow up. There's no way. According to this article, State Department officials have argued in recent weeks that Iran and the United States have shared interests due to Tehran's ethnic ties to the Shiite-led Iraqi government. Tehran, they say, is ideologically opposed to ISIL because it is a Sunni extremist group. Once, do you see how the propaganda floats in? Oh, Sunni, Shia. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. All I'm saying is within the Iranian global terror network. Uh-uh. Iran's got their hooks. It's just amazing to me. I tell you, I'm just blown away by what I read about from this Thomas Jocelyn. I'm blown away. Oh my God, it's just amazing to me. Just amazing. Here's an article. WikiLeaks. Malachi filled Iraqi security. He was the former prime minister of Iraq. Services with Shiites. Former Prime Minister Malachi fired dozens of officers from the Security Intelligence Services earlier this year and replaced them with inexperienced political officers loyal to his Shiite Dawa party, U.S. officials reported in February. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's more evidence of weapons prove Iranian role in Iraq. Let's see what we got here. This is a couple of years ago. Iranian-backed militias in Iraq are using more sophisticated weapons than in the past to target U.S. troops and military installations in Iraq. So Iran, as we know, it's just that long journey. I just could not believe the amount of Al Qaeda officers that are affiliated that live in Iran. I'm just like I'm just blown away. I'm blown away. U.S. officials have previously accused Iran of supplying weapons and training to Iraqi insurgents, although details have been scant. In a 2009 report on global terrorism, the State Department accused Iran of providing Iraqi militant groups with advanced rockets, sniper rifles, automatic weapons, and mortars for use against coalition forces. The report also accused Iran of increasingly using these lethal roadside bombs, IEDs, and militants were used to blowing up U.S. military vessels. I'm just like, this is like incredible. I'm telling you, man. So, Iran ready to present proof of Turkey's oil trade with ISIS. Iran's getting ready to go. Iran's ready to go on the books. You know, Iran's been smuggling for so many years now. Obama, they're going on the books. They're going back into OPEC, so they got to get on the books now. Iran's getting ready to go on the books. It's just unbelievable, bro. I'm just blown away, man. I'm just blown away. I'm just retweeting some of these people that some many people sending me tweets, just retweeting. Yeah, I'm just blown away by all this. I can't. I'm not lying. This is just unbelievable. This stuff is just incredible. It's just incredible. Yeah, that's the stuff. Here. All right, let me get this, and I'm going to get this other stuff. Let me get the other thing I want to. Yeah, because I want to. Now, I mean, I think I've given you a lot of. I think because I'm going to get that. I'm going to get those articles this week. I'm going to go over them again. Unbelievable. Just to give you an idea, the Ministry of Intelligence and Security, the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security. I think I read this last summer. It's good to go over things, uses all means at its disposal to protect the Islamic Revolution of Iran, utilizing such methods as infiltrating internal opposition force groups, monitoring domestic threats, arresting alleged spies and dissidents, exposing conspiracies deemed threatening, and maintaining liaison with other foreign intelligence agencies as well as with organizations that protect the Islamic Republic's interests around the world. Although Islamic hardliners in Iran are in charge of the ministry under the guidance of the Ayatollah, okay, right, obviously, Every minister of intelligence must hold a degree in the ability to interpret Islamic sources such as the Quran and the words of the Prophet and the Imams. From a religious school, abstain from membership in any political. Wow. According to Iran's constitution, all organizations must share information with the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security. The ministry oversees all covert operations. It usually executes internal operations itself, but the Quds force of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, for the most part, handles extra, ex, ex, extraterritorial, wow, extraterritorial, extraterritorial operations such as sabotage, assassinations, and espionage. Although the Quds force operates independently, it shares information it collects with Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security. Wow, interesting. So I just want to go over this other thing. I want to get this counterintelligence. Right. Yeah, this one here, right. Now, I want to read this one more time. I want you to tell me, right, who does this sound like? As a government body, the Iranian Now, tell me if this doesn't sound like something that you've heard. As a government body, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps enjoyed a budget of approximately, this is a little like a year old data, a little more than a year, more than a year. As a government body, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps enjoyed a budget of approximately 1.7 billion for the year 2013-2014. I'm going to try to get 2014 to 2015. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is also Iran's most powerful economic actor, according to the United States Treasury Department, which labeled the National Iranian Oil Company an agent or affiliate of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. And within the Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is the Iranian Quds Force exerts control over strategic industries, commercial services, and black market enterprises. What else more do we need to know, right? Yeah, let's go to here for a second. I want to go just to give you an idea. On September 24, 2012, the Treasury, the United States Treasury Department submitted a report to Congress determining that the National Iranian Oil Company is an agent or affiliate of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. Now, just for you to understand, okay, Bank Melli of Iran, which was, do you see how this model goes? Bank Melli of Iran and the Iranian surrogates, Blind Sheikh's Mosque, 650 Fifth Avenue building, $1.4 million from the 650 Fifth Avenue building, the Alevi Foundation, who was part of the owners of the 650 Fifth Avenue building case I talked about in Manhattan. It goes to the Blind Sheikh's Mosque, over $1.4 million. I'm telling you, this model over here tells you it makes everything clear and convincing. Bank Melli of Iran, deemed by United States Treasury Department press release, is a proliferator of weapons of mass destruction in Iran. The biggest bank in Iran, Bank Melli of Iran. So, according to the United States Treasury Department, 2002, I think 2002, 2004, hundreds of millions of dollars from Bank Melli of Iran to Hamas, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iranian Quds Force, and Hezbollah. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I mean, and now, just to understand Because really what I'm showing here is that ISIS conceivably is Iran. I know it's a Sunni militia. That article, I'm going to go, that article by Thomas Jocelyn, okay, so the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is Iran's most powerful economic, okay, I read this already, is the most powerful economic actor dominating many sectors of the economy, including energy, construction, and banking. The IRGC, Iranian, a, a target of U.S. sanctions, has a history of attempting to circumvent sanctions by maintaining a complex network of front companies. And we talk about this all the time, front, like a Levy Foundation. The IRGC and certain IRGC related entities and individuals have been sanctioned for activities related to Iran's nuclear program, support for terrorism, commission of serious human rights abuse, and most recently for activities related to human rights abuses in Syria, including repression against the Syrian people. You know, terrible. But and this was part of the problem that has yet to be answered. Why we haven't taken out the Assad regime? Recently, the IRGC has been coordinating a campaign to sell Iranian oil in an effort to evade international sanctions, specifically those imposed by the EU, the European Union, that prohibit the import, shipping, and purchase of Iranian oil, which went into full effect July 1st, 2012. The NIOC, the National Iranian Oil Company, which is owned by the government of Iran through the Ministry of Petroleum, is responsible for the exploration, production, refining, and export of oil and petroleum. It's 12:30 at night. Products in Iran. Under the current Iranian regime, the IRGC's Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps influence has grown within the NIOC. For example, on August 3rd, wow, this is great stuff because this gives us an idea of the sophistications of this IRGC, which in there is the Iranian is the Quds Force, special forces. Under the current, I'm reading right from this. I'll tell you where I'm reading this from. It's called the United States Institute of Peace, the Iran Primer. It's an article. It doesn't say the author, but this is great stuff. Under the current Iranian regime, the IRGC's influence has grown within the National Iranian Oil Company. For example, on August 3rd, 2011, Iran's parliament approved the appointment of Rostam Kazemi, a brigadier general in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, a minister of petroleum. Prior to his appointment, Qasemi was the commander of Al-Anbiya. He was the commander of Al-Anbiya, a construction and development wing of the IRGC that generates income and funds operations for the IRGC. His new role as Minister of Petroleum, Qasemi has publicly stated his allegiance to the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and has been increasingly influential in Iran's energy sector. Khatam al-Anbiya has obtained billions of dollars worth of contracts with Iranian energy companies, including the National Iranian Oil Company, often without participating in a competitive bidding process. Wow. See, this is what the problem is. So now, wow, it just gives you, I mean, it's a great article because it just gives you an idea. This is by the, let's see, this is by the United States Institute of Peace. United States Institute of Peace. They didn't have an author on the article, but it's really interesting. Treasury links Iran oil to elite military. That gives us a great idea of this IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force, Special Forces of the IRGC, and then you got this NOIC, the National Iranian Oil Company, which is amazing. So it gives us a little more sophistication on this Iranian global terror network. Now, I tell you, unbelievable. It's good stuff, man. So that gives us an idea. I got this from the counterextremism.com. I want to look at this other article while I'm here. It's from the Council. I just want to see what they have to say. The Council of Foreign Affairs, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. It is a money machine. Okay, good. Here's interesting. I don't know how. Well, at least I got infrastructure, you know? So, they have an infrastructure. That's why I believe. Here's interesting. Okay, good. LA Times. Iran's $12 billion enforcers. From road building to laser eye surgery, the Revolutionary Guard. This is 2007 article, but this gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Because Iran has the infrastructure, you know? Iran has the infrastructure. The Iran's Revolutionary Guard has quietly become one of the most significant political and economic powers in the Islamic Republic, with ties to more than 100 companies, which by some estimates control more than $12 billion in business and construction, economists and Iranian political analysts say. Okay. So it was created since 1979 as a military and intelligence force to protect the ideals of Iran's Islamic Revolution. Now its 125,000 strong force has used a massive military engineering capability to develop rebuilding the country after the 80-88 Iraq War. Right. So, across Iran, public works projects involving pipelines, roads, bridges, and increasingly oil and gas are dominated by the Guard's engineering arm, the equivalent of the United States Army Corps of Engineers, or by companies with which the Guard has a close relationship. The amount of money we're talking about is 12 to 15 billion in contracts. Unbelievable, said a Tehran-based economist who spoke on the condition of anonymity for security purposes. Basically, the private sector has no more space for doing civil projects in the country, or very few of them. All the projects are being done by special companies which belong to the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iranian officials have disclosed an estimated 6 billion in contracts the Revolutionary Guard Corps has received over the years, a figure equivalent to one-tenth of Iran's annual exports of $66.7 billion, mainly oil. Wow. The nation's annual gross domestic product is about 204 billion. Wow. So look at the, a figure, 1/10 of Iran's annual exports of 66.7 billion, mainly oil. I'm telling you, there's something, I mean, there's too much over here. Too much, too much, too much of a connection. There's too much, too much. That was an article by the L.A. Times by Kim Murphy. Iran's $12 billion enforcers, they call them, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is the Quds Force, General Soleimani, the Special Forces is within that. Now let me just make sure I understand the MOIS. The Iranian Ministry of Intelligence. Let me see its affiliation. Okay, the ministry oversees all covert operations. It usually executes internal operations itself, but the Quds Force of the IRGC, for the most part, executes the extraterrestrial. Here we go. I got it right now. The extraterrestrial operations such as sabotage, all that stuff. Extraterrestrial. So it's so the MOIS is not within the IRGC. It's separate. Right. Right. There it is. Okay. The MOIS is separate. So I guess that's their special intelligence, their equivalents to our yeah, like the KGB of that's the KGB of that's their KGB. That's the way it looks because it doesn't fall within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Quds Forces, Special Forces. It does some right covert operations. So there it is. Oversees all covert operations. That's interesting because I wonder. That's interesting. But anyway, I think we touched on some interesting stuff tonight on the pre-show about ISIS. I really wanted to focus on ISIS because I'm trying to understand because all mainstream press now is claiming that ISIS is a creation of America, and I believe that ISIS, if you want to, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning honestly. I don't know. I'm putting all the data together, so I'm getting close to saying I have statistical significance. But what I'm saying here is that I believe that, for all intents and purposes, ISIS is America acquiesced and capitulated to Iran and allowed Iran to do what they're doing with ISIS. Because it sounds to me, all the data that's coming out, it sounds like it's Iran. I don't believe ISIS has a bank account, do you? I don't believe ISIS has this big infrastructure. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because let's look at it, and I'm gonna leave on this note. Look at Libya. Libya had a revolution over there, so-called. It was sponsored. We went over this. The Al Qaeda, the Libyan Islamic fighting group was from the back end. The Obama Clinton administration through Qatar gave weapons to this group, and they overthrew Gaddafi. Right? That's a country with no infrastructure. And then look at France. What happened in France? That's a country with infrastructure. They snuck in. They did their asymmetrical warfare. They snuck in. They didn't see them. They did their guerrilla warfare. These radical Islamists, and they were able to for some point in time have control. And then once the French got in, they performed over 400 raids all over their area. So they have the infrastructure. You don't you don't just walk in and overthrow it. You know, when you're a developed nation, you have infrastructure. So that's the difference. France, Libya, France, Libya, Iraq, Iran. Iran's got infrastructure. Iraq doesn't. It's been split up now with the Kurds, ISIS, and we know Iran has a spot. So ISIS, we're going to say, is Al Qaeda in Iraq, and Iran is over there influencing Al Qaeda in Iraq. Iran is over there influencing Al Qaeda in Syria. Statistically significant, absolutely. So where we're at this point, ISIS, for all intents and purposes, conceivably, I'm close to statistical significance that ISIS is the creation of Iran, and that we, unfortunately, the Obama Clinton administration acquiesced and capitulated, because Iran's in Iraq. Iran is in Iraq with the Quds Force, and they're going to control. I just can't. It's Iran, man. That article by Thomas Jocelyn, the Long War Journal, it blew me away. Honestly, I'm going to go over it again. I couldn't believe the amount of Al Qaeda affiliates, Al Qaeda officers, senior and non-senior, that actually are living in Iran. It is unbelievable. Okay, I'm getting ready for the live show. America's Team, RussoNation.tv. Remember, December 13th, next Sunday, December 13th, from 12 to 2. Man, come down to the Frankie Russo Christmas reception. I'll buy you all a drink. Okay? It's next Sunday, December 13th, between 12 and 2. Frankie Russo's Christmas reception. I'll buy you all a drink. And we'll talk about how we can help America's Team, help our veterans. We're going to raise $50,000. It'll be a gift, a stress reduction, biofeedback center. We'll start off on a small scale, and we'll build it to something, with the grace of God, we get the right people involved, to something pretty big. So this is the Frankie Russo pre-show. I'm getting ready for the live show in about 20 minutes. This is the Frankie Russo pre-show. I'll see you in a few. Yeah, yeah, yeah.